Welcome to Dumpling School. This is episode 16. Again, this is done for the Ladies of Noble Character from Ego Hackers. A lot of the information we are getting is from the work of C.S. Joseph. And if you want to find out more, you could go to school.com/CS Joseph. I will put the link in the little blurb up top. So anyway, let's see. Today's episode I don't think is much as psychology specific, but it is about relationships. So this is something I've seen talked about a few times. And in light of some of the recent Hacked Off videos and the recent CSJ YouTube videos, I feel like it's actually important to have this also from a lady's perspective and understanding, because if we see it multiple times, somehow it will actually help a bit. So anyway, today's topic is about sex and marriage. So yeah, sex, commitment, marriage, all that fun stuff. I do recommend, if you have a daughter, to have her listen to it if it's age appropriate. Kind of the point in time where they may be dating or being interested in guys. And that way they will be able to ask the appropriate questions. So I am going to keep things a little bit on the clean side, but it's still we are talking about sex and marriage and commitment. So anyway, when I was getting married to my husband, I actually did a lot of research into the history of marriages and traditions and all that fun stuff. I wanted to figure out what I wanted to include. And I know that the guys, the Ego Hacker guys, the team that's been doing all the Hacked Off podcast and developing material, they have also been researching marriage on their own, and you're welcome to check the recent Hacked Off podcasts. I don't remember where it kind of started. I could check real quick. But there are some important stuff on the definition of marriage. And basically, part of that is the agreement between people. And we had a lot of conversations here. Because I actually posted it for the ladies recently. And I don't see it. Oh, well, I will look that up later. But yes, definition of marriage. And I do not have it memorized on top of my head. So basically, we'll just actually talk about history, and I will be stumbling through this, and you'll actually kind of get where it is coming from. So a young woman, actually any woman, is the property of a man, either her dad, her husband, or if she is widowed, then one of her sons or son-in-laws will take care of her. That is the concept that a woman is always attached to some type of male judgment, some type of guy in her life that would actually help out with the things going on in their life. Some of the old laws that are written basically say that there is a bride price, and basically if let's say a boy and a girl get very enamored with each other and run off and have sex without getting married, that young boy is stealing from the dad because that girl has lost her bride price. And the fix for it was that they would pay the bride price. And if there was a problem, it was also they're taking away that dad's right to have the bride price done. It wasn't that she, it was and a lot of times it was very contractual too. This is something they don't go through, but a lot of times, and this is researching not just the Old Hebrew, but also some of the other cultures, that a marriage was a marriage between two families. And this is kind of one under the arranged marriage idea, but two dads would get together and choose that their two children need to be together. So let's say how this is actually business contractual. And I know this is not fun, but it could be business contractual too. So let's say one dad owns a vineyard and they make grapes, and the other dad makes barrels. Now they're both of their both of their businesses are now merged together with the marriage of their children. So they have a financial contract, not just a bride price going on. And a lot of times it was seen that way. You are actually merging two families together. And they may have their own house on the property, they may have some separation somewhere, but it was a contract between two families. And that has actually been that way until we actually started moving away from that. And people stopped doing that type of thing. But still, in a lot of marriage traditions, the father is giving away the bride to the groom. And a lot of times at the beginning of the arrangements of a wedding, the two families start getting to know each other. They may basically spend some time together because guess what? They have to arrange, holidays and times that they are going to spend with children, where the kids are going to live nearest to. If they're not in the same town, it might be that they will travel one state for one family and a different state for another family. Or they may live near one. And, that set of grandparents may have some advantages of helping with the grandkids and seeing them more often because they live closer. Or it may be a generational household where mom and dad live in a little section of the house and they help take care of the kids. So, in a sense, marriage has become a merge of families. A lot of times it was contractual. That's one reason we actually do sign legal contracts, is because of the contractual nature of that. I know in our modern day, we also have non-legal, where it basically is a religious marriage, and it is basically seen as a marriage between two people in front of God and some witnesses. And that kind of gets around some of the legal pieces, but still, it is something that is a merge between two families. And this made it very important to know, especially when they talk about inheritance and when they talk about where, their lineage and all that fun stuff. It was very important that the young lady be a virgin. That way, the husband knows that all of the children are his, not somebody else's. They are his. And so the quality that the girl is virgin is extremely important in that sense. And there's still a lot of benefit to the virginities. I know there's some girls in the channel that are not, and I will get to that part later, but we're going to talk about virginity, the importance of virginity. So, I forgot something. Okay, I'll share that in a little bit. So virginity affects your bonding to the men or to the man that you are with. If you are bonded to multiple men, it can actually mess with that bonding and cause problems. There's also research recently that I've seen about the DNA of previous men still residing in the body. So even though you haven't had sex with the guy that you lost your virginity to, you could technically still have a child with the DNA sequences of that guy many years later. 20 years later, you could have his genetic sequence, the guy that you lost your virginity with, can still be in your children. And that is some interesting research that I've dug up, and we've posted a few times in the channels. And it's basically has come across. Now, even though that, your children are that way. So that part, bonds, and then genetic sequences, and also faithfulness. I actually saw a crazy video earlier this morning. Some lady on social media was opening a paternity test package because she was on her third child with her husband, and that third child could technically have one of 5 fathers. And she was trying to keep it secret from her husband. I don't know why she posted this, but she was trying to keep it secret from her husband so that she could make sure that he was the father or not the father. And that means in that month where she was, what is it called? Got pregnant, she was with 5 different men. And this is their third child together, if it's that same father. And I don't know why she would post this online. I don't know what she's advertising or what she thinks she is doing. It's just, it's disgusting that she would have that problem. That's very messy. And if she actually lives that lifestyle, and is sneaking around on her husband like that, then who knows which set of genetics would actually go for that child. So yeah, virginity is important. Also, usually the guy that you are first connected to that way is usually the apex, and it would take a lot of trauma and healing to remove that. So that bonding of virginity is extremely important and extremely valuable. So if you are virgin, try to stay virgin until you have full commitment, full marriage from the guy that you are with. That way it will simplify and make your marriage a lot easier. Just trust me on it. Also, they did some statistics that when a woman is a virgin, it has a higher rate of that marriage to last longer. So, and the numbers were actually quite staggering. I think is like 87% of virgin marriages last the lifetime, where even one extra drops down to about 50. That is a big gap between the two, between being virgin and having one extra partner. So that is a staggering difference between those two. So yes, virginity is the best. And I know there's lots of ladies in here that don't have that option. They may have had that option taken away from them. They may have not understood the importance, or they may have had some type of tragic event. So this is where redemption comes in. So I am going to go back to a marriage. Yeah, okay, never mind. I'll skip that. That's cool. So what if you have a body count? So this is the redemption stuff. If you have a body count, the best thing to do is basically live a life of repentance with the guy that you're currently with. So if you're with a man, then stick with him. And if he's willing to stick with you, that's fine. You can't undo the body count. There is some stuff to break soul ties and fix apex and all that fun stuff, but you can't undo the actual body count. That is just a truth that ends up being there. So this is where the man is your redeemer. So I personally had a ex-husband. I was virgin with him, and there was some severe problems that happened. And I separated. He divorced me, and then when I met my husband, he wanted to redeem me. He didn't really use those words, but he knew my background. I was completely honest with what happened. And he's like, no, I want to be with you. So he was okay with me having, me not being virgin. And so he, in a sense, redeemed me. And I actually went through some healing and cleaned off the background stuff in my life. And he and I have been together for about 25 years now. So that is one of the hopeful stories. I know that there's a handful of the ladies in the server that have also had some very beautiful redemption stories where something happened with their first marriage, where they had to leave, and then later on, they found a man that was like, I want to be with you no matter what. And I know a couple of those even had children from that first marriage. So redemption does happen. So what we've actually thought of with the Eco Hackers channel and what we're actually teaching right now in our group, Ladies of Noble Character, is that if you can return to the men that you were with before, that is probably the healthiest option. There are cases that can't happen. Either that man was, let's say there's possibility of rape, there's a possibility of severe abuse going on. There is a possibility of it was just some, we'll just say a bad case of fornication, that you just a bunch of promiscuous going on and there is no contact with the men you are with. That's that zero contact part. That's where we clean up. And if you're not with any man, what we recommend is to choose celibacy until you find a guy that's interested in redeeming you and being committed to you. And this is the part that takes healthy boundaries. And, you know, if a guy is like, oh, yeah, I want to date you, okay? And he knows that you have not been, that you have had a past. Sometimes it's easier to know than other times. And don't go sleeping with him until he's actually sure and wants to commit to you. What happens is a lot of times that puts you in danger of him just basically doing plate spinning. And that means he dates you, has sex with you, and then he dumps you. And then he goes to another girl, dates her, has sex with her, dumps her. Another girl, sex, date, sex, and then dump. And going from girl to girl to girl to girl. It actually creates a problem. It creates more and more problems. And sometimes there are children born from these problems. And that guy is never going to be wanting to commit. He may even promise lightly, but he never fully commits. He just basically is doing plate spinning. So until you actually get commitment, don't go for the sex. And if he actually is pushing for sex and not wanting to wait, then most likely he is going to basically do that abuse, basically pump and dump over and over and over. And he will go from one girl to the next girl. And also in the relationship, a guy that actually pushes sex, they're not going to honor you in that relationship. They're not going to honor the, like the, I'm going to be with you for a little bit. They're not going to honor that as well. So no, you need commitment, and keep your legs together until you're committed. And that does take healthy boundaries. That also takes saying no, even if he's giving you flowers, even if he's being very, very sweet and saying, hey, cool, I'm going to treat you really good and you need to pay me back. No, no, no. Don't accept it. It's something I think I said if a guy is paying very, very expensive dinners, he is probably expecting sex in return. And he is not going to honor your needs either. Yeah, he is not going to honor your needs in there. So yeah, date, get to know the guy, and start finding out if he wants to get married. And if he is not wanting to get married, if he doesn't want commitment, go to the next guy. Just go to the next guy. There will be a guy out there that will be interested in commitment. There's a lot of guys that don't even actually ask girls out, too. It might be how they were been treated or how people are, things going on in their lives. So, yeah. And then once you have that commitment, all that wonderful sex is guilt-free. You can have as much of sex as you want with your husband, and there is no guilt in it because now you are together. And another terminology I'll bring up is some guys try to do open relationships. Some guys try to do friends with benefits. All of that is just trying to that it is trying to basically waste your time as a woman. Potentially getting pregnant, potentially getting some type of disease, because that would be where plant splitting actually does have that type of thing going on. And yeah, just go for commitment and try to go back with the guy. If you have a person that maybe just like a little bit angry or a little bit, what is it called? He might have some personality disorder or something like that. He may need to work on himself. A guy that just needs to work on himself, that's cool. He just needs a nice, good older brother type figure in his life, a dad in his life to help him start being guided straight. Not straight in like, stuff, but guided towards being and growing as a man. So, yeah, that's usually where the older brother comes in, or the substitute dad. But, yeah, he may be immature, and that's fine. But just find the guy that's going to actually commit to you. And that is actually the best advice that we can actually do here. And ask some of that stuff early on. When you're actually dating, and we're going to go to this next time, when you're actually dating, find out what he is actually looking for. Because some guys are actually dating to marriage. Some guys are actually just going to try to have fun. Find a guy that is wanting commitment. Find a guy that's wanting children. Find a guy that is wanting to actually put forth all the effort and actually wait for you. Because that is the guy that will actually be the right person. Ask yourself, do you know? Okay, yeah, that's actually a good thing to think of. Ask yourself, do you know enough to know You know enough to know you. Would you be okay for the rest of your life? Okay. Before the commitment, find out if you know enough about this person so that you would be okay to commit to this person for the rest of your life. That is the one mindset that I truly tried to look at on getting married is, do I want to be this with this person for the rest of my life? To me, marriage is supposed to be for the rest of my life. And even with the issue I had with mine, my first one, I was intending to try to stay with him for the rest of my life, even with the problems. It was until I was, what was it called? Physically impossible. Yeah, there are some problems. We'll just say it that way. It was not good for my health for me to stay with him. And then when I chose to be with my husband, I chose to be with him for the rest of my life. No takebacks. That is my choice. And that's another really good question is for yourself is would you be wanting to have children with this guy? There are guys out there that might be lots of fun, but would not also make good dads. And actually, I'm going to go into that to the next. I'm going to copy that one and put it in my notes for next time. But those are really good questions, and I am going to add those to the list of things to talk to him about. So, yeah. Anyway, I think Scar had a really cool quote that I just completely liked. Something about don't put your penis into somebody you're not willing to get pregnant. So yeah, don't have a sex with guy. Don't have sex with a guy that you're not willing to be pregnant with his children. That is the best way to do that, because honestly, all that all the sexual contraceptions, yeah, sometimes they don't work. Sometimes vasectomies don't work. So, and yes, there's some stories on that. But yes, just wait till commitment, and just take care of trying to find the right guy that wants to be committed to you. Definitely, for the virgins, stay virgin, and for those that are needing a redemption, still try to get into that committed marriage before actually having sex. And that is some of the best advice I could give. And it will help you have a healthier life. It will help you find the correct direction to go on this. So, and I want to thank my audience for today for joining in Dumpling School. And you guys are great. And thank you for all your commentary and everything as well. And I will see you next time.